The day after.
On Wednesday.
Saved it for that.
But yeah, whenever we're just putting it.
Problem is everything
You guys
that's mailed
stay.
here.
Yes.
gets
So
shipped.
all of you
So see,
and,
and then
and,
Just.
okay.
So he-
You would have thought.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
I know.
And he's moving.
Well,
That way he's-
and maybe it's this envelope, they think you got.
But then it's not that you guys are so.
We'll call it, right,
Right.
and track.
Because he's really.
Well, it's a big envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my buddy was saying, they'll ship it, and they can scan for all that.
This one.
Oh, I didn't
Bigger
figure
than- It's a start.
Thursday. Well, Thursday it should have been packed.
It should have been. Yes, Mark couldn't get back in time.
He said,
He's gone, he's out all week, so
So I mean,
somewhere.
what's he in jail?
Probably on vacation.
I'm just glad this wasn't next week.
Oh, that's one
Yeah.
ferry.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't have been here.
well, I wouldn't have been here either if it was next week.
Well, then I wouldn't have been here.
That's right, because everyone, three of us on this board would have been gone.
We need to look at.
I'd have been sick.
As far as I know, I don't think I have anything.
Yeah. I know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Yeah. If you don't,
But one way or the other.
if you don't, then I'll have to motion it to table it.
Does it tell you who's watching it?
If we don't have
One
enough.
person.
to vote
But they
anyway.
who
Right.
it is?
No.
Oh, no.
She's peering in on us.
I should text her and be like, are you watching it?
This is the property here.
Yeah. It's out on US 50.
I think things are fine.
Never mind. I know this is. Let's see what they got to say.
Yep.
Oh, probably. How did they get in here? Look. Oh, my goodness, I'm going to jail anyway. I didn't put my traffic ticket in Ohio. Well, this week, I got, we're both saying, it's on the turnpike, I haven't paid my thing, I'm going to jail.
Oh, the spam thing.
I called AAA and she said, don't get it removal,
Yep.
delete it. I said, well, this one here's from China anyway, I said, with the phone number.
Go out, and get the deputy to arrest you.
Wrong state. I wanted to call. No. I'm gonna give you. You're gonna bring sheriff deputy, anybody else in. No, it's car. Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We're on TV already.
Yeah, we
We're
were.
on candid camera.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 Board of Zoning Appeals. If you have a cell phone, we'd appreciate it if you would silence it. And see here, if you want to speak on any matter and you haven't filled out one of these little cards out there, we'd appreciate it if you just, so we have your name and everything. Andy?
As a recipient of federal funds and in support of Dearborn County's efforts to ensure non-discrimination and equal access to all citizens, the county gathers statistical data regarding participants in county activities. Therefore, we provided a voluntary Title VI public involvement survey at this meeting. You are not required to complete the survey. However, the form is anonymous and will be used solely for the purpose of monitoring our compliance with Title VI.
Okay, I'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call.
Russell Byersdorfer?
Phil Darling.
Ruth Ann Stenger.
Andrea Shooter.
Okay. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes of May 13th, 2025.
I didn't see anything that got a whack with it.
I didn't either,
So
so
therefore I move to accept the minutes from the May 13th meeting as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Abstain.
Okay, we don't have no old business to be taken care of. None was tabled. Okay, our first request is a variance of use for residential structure and light industrial. Yeah, you're killing me. Quinlan, 15 C. The site location is US 50. It's in Washington Township. The zoning is light industrial. The size of the property is 4 plus or minus acres. Okay, Dina, you're up.
This property is located on US 50, the public road with a speed limit of 55 miles per hour with very right of way. The applicant's requesting to allow residential structure and accessory structure in a light industrial district. The property is question. They're wanting to build a home and accessory structures in a light industrial portion and then run a business out of the pole barn that's a permitted use. So they already have the approval from the city of Aurora to hook up the city sewer. If it's approved, the owner of the property will purchase just 4 acres. The sale of the property is contingent on the approval of this variance. The proposed buyers want to run a business out of the existing barn and the home property is. They put a letter in there, and you know what it is they're going to do. It's effective. If the variance is approved, they'll have to go through a certified survey process, and then they'll have to go through the location improvement process. There were 10 letters mailed out, all 10 letters were delivered.
No phone call, anything.
On this one, we had one, somebody called, they were on the other side of 50 and they were confused why they got a letter, that's all we received. The sector was reversed.
Are we? Yeah,
It's a huge.
No,
Okay,
yeah, keep going.
all right, we're gonna keep going. So like I said, the proposed buyers are wanting to build a residence with accessory structures in a light industrial zone district. The variance of use is to change just the use of the land to residential in a small portion. It comes from Article 10, Section 1010, principal permitted or conditional uses. The type of use posed for the property is not a use that is listed in the zoning district. So here is this slide shows the zoning is light industrial for the affected parcel and a combination of agricultural, residential, R1 and R2 for the surrounding parcels. Here's the aerial of the property. So on this one, in the packet, you'll see where the proposed location for the house will be, but on this, just to clean it up a little bit, I'm just showing you like the 4 acres that are proposed. The house will be more towards the northeast portion of the property beside the pond, that way. So this slide is looking at the existing structure on the property. This is where they're gonna run like a storage type business out of, if the variance is included. This is at the end of the driveway. This is just showing you the back of it so you can see the size of the building. Can't really see the pond without going all the way back there, you know, to extend things, so just from the driveway, kind of take a look at it. So this is looking northwest into the property. This is approximately the location of the side, where the side property line will be. And then this looking north into the property, so you're kind of looking for where the pond is at. This is looking east towards the side property line, and this is about kind of the area where the home will be. This slide is looking south across US 50 from the driveway that's seen on the property. And this is looking west at the end, west of US 50 at the end of the driveway. And then this is looking north into the property from the end of the driveway. So that's all I have on this one. You want me to go back to the certain slide? Yeah,
Keep going.
keep going, there's nothing after that.
No, I mean,
Go back, okay.
he's going back.
I know, I stopped.
Right there.
Yeah, right there, that'd be a
That's
good
fine.
one. Anybody have anything for Dina?
don't think so.
No,
Okay. We might ask you some more questions later. Okay, for the
applicant.
applicant, would you step up there and state your name and kind of give us a more or less what she said, or you got anything to add?
Just that we were looking to purchase this property, for business use, but it would be ideal for us also to be able to live on the property due to security and monitoring and being able to be on site, for that as well.
So you're gonna use it as a storage,
Some sort of storage, yes, indoor storage.
indoor storage?
Yeah, we're not going outside.
Okay. Are you gonna expand the storage?
Not as of right now, no, it would just be indoor, it's 8,000 square feet. As of right now, no. But I mean that if there would be enough room, even if you allow residential, I think, to put. Maybe to extend. For the business part.
Okay.
And you said it's all indoor, you're not doing
All-
any storing
nothing
outside? I don't have any
Oh,
questions. Me either.
I don't have anything.
Okay. I guess we're good. We might ask you again.
Move to open public discussion.
Who second that?
I have a motion and a second to open public discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, aye. I forgot I got to vote. Opposed? Okay. Anybody here want to speak on this?
Move to close public
Wait,
discussion.
wait, wait.
Oh, did you have one? I'm sorry.
You have a question on,
Yeah, I have a question. When Mr. Armstrong
Go
owned
ahead.
that property,
wait a minute,
Come up to
come
the,
up here and state your name.
James Calvert, my property is just adjacent to this. When Mr. Armstrong owned that property, they would not let him build a house on it. You want to build a house for one of your children. And then zoning commission said, no, they couldn't do it.
Which piece of property is yours?
The old cotton house right next door.
Right next door, the
Just
the driveway?
Yeah, just to the right. I mean, that fence or.
Yeah,
Her property.
Yeah,
That
okay,
property is my fence line.
okay. You have anything else you wanted to add to it then, or just that they would
I have
let
no
him build?
objections. I mean, I don't know what kind of business it is. That's the only thing, one question I had,
It would just. Just indoor storage,
just storage.
yes, like I thought it was RV, but just the indoor,
Would you plan to build a house there as well?
I would like to.
Where would you build that house?
It would be back into the back portion.
Back by the pond. Right,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Do you have a picture of that you could put up?
Well,
Well, I
it's in our
have it. I
packet.
didn't know if they,
So they can see it.
I meant so they could see it.
But why not?
Okay,
I mean, I don't know how long ago I mean,
How long
would we
ago
have
was it?
history of that? And their records of why they,
who knows?
That's okay. I just would like to speak if I can, once you guys are done.
Okay.
we haven't closed public.
We haven't
discussion,
closed
so
Good yet.
You can come up.
Yeah,
You can come up, just need to come up and state your name.
I'm Casey Kanaga, current owner of the property.
Oh.
The Quinlans are interested in doing a storage business in the front, but they would also like to be able to build in the rear.
Sure.
It's kind of a unique scenario, but they're made fully aware, because I own 10 more acres next to them. And they're fully aware that that's gonna be getting developed into other business lots, okay, because being in part of Dearborn County, this property is valuable, for what it is, but for what their use is, they're not taking the curb frontage out, they're utilizing that to its benefit and what its purpose is. In the rear back there, it's adjacent to current farm ground, and then to the right, there's current residential as well. As Mr. Calvert was just had mentioned there. So personally, I feel like it's a nice use, as long as the new owners know that they're in an industrial area. If they get a neighbor coming in that has a business, don't be bragging about it. He's in. And that's where I think that they know that what they would be susceptible to. They're not even 100% sure that they're going to build there, but they know that they would like to, when that happens, if it's a year or two from now, and if I'm speaking out of line.
Nope,
Yeah,
you're right.
But that's just, they're spending good money on this property because they've been searching for a place they could have a business, but also live at too. And that's kind of hard, because you can't go out in the countryside and put a business. So they have to come into the area where they can put a business, but they want to live there as well, so that's where they're looking at trying to, if you will, kill two birds with one stone, and given how this property is set up and with the pond, it makes kind of for a nice area there. But they've been told, and I'm actually working with NDOT in the city of Aurora to develop the rest of the property, and they're aware of that, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Anybody else?
Move to close public discussion.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to close public discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, board.
I kind of feel that it fits in where the location is. And you're already got a resident there.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's gonna be on city sewer, which is another thing.
that's, if it's putting on that, I'd be,
You're big on the city sewer
you
thing.
darn right I am.
Well, and I mean, it doesn't cause any, harm on, our requirements that we're supposed to follow. I don't see an issue with it, but don't blame them wanting to live there and have a
And-
business,
and be their own security.
right? It seems like they're aware of the situations around it, and it is a business entity. I don't.
The only question I would have is. Would there be a problem? If they. If we give the okay to build a house and they build a house. And say 10 years they sell and the people don't like. This is just being devil's advocate or whatever. And the people who live there start complaining, who buy it from them. They don't have a leg to stand
I was
on.
gonna say, that would be their own problem. They would
Yeah.
see it before
Well,
they move.
because we've had a few that are next door to B1
Right.
or businesses and they complain.
No,
You know,
you buy subject
I
to
was-
your neighbors.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay.
You buy subject to your neighbors. Now, if your neighbor changes their use, that's different, but if
Yeah.
you
But
buy a
if-
piece of property that's surrounded by industrial.
Well, I guess that's the
you can't
point I'm
complain
trying to
if you bought a
make.
piece of property surrounded by industrial.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
point I think I'm trying to make. Because if they change it from a storage business to a light manufacturing. Whatever. People that would be living there can't complain about.
Right, well, they can, but they're not.
It's not gonna
Right.
stand up because they bought it that way. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
Correct.
Okay, I don't have a problem.
Well, after hearing everyone, I'm gonna move to grant the variance of use to allow residential and accessory structures in a light industrial zone district. And property on US 50, section 10. What township is that? Washington? Washington.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna cite Article 10, section 1010. For conditional uses and Article 3, section 320 of the Dearborn County zoning ordinance.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to grant a variance of use to allow residential and accessory structures in a light industrial zone district for what's that?
Right there.
There's a US 50 Washington Township with a acreage of 4 plus or minus acres.
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So. Okay,
I think, you might put on the record that Ruth Ann.
okay. Ruth Ann Stanger abstained because there was a conflict of interest and she stepped out of the room while we discussed this case. Thank you. Okay. Our next case is a variance for a reduction of front yard building setback for an entire subdivision. The owner applicant is Larry Smith. Site location is Rocky Mountain Estates. The partial, it's multiple subdivision lots, 1 to 129.
It's multiple.
Yeah, it's in Miller Township. The size of the property is 86.533 plus or minus acres. The zoning is residential R2.
Right, so, Rocky Mountain Estate has public roads with a speed limit of 20 miles per hour unless posted otherwise. They have a 50-foot right of way. The typical width of the roadways in the subdivision are 20 feet, but we measured all the roads. It does vary from 19 to 21 to 22. So for variance, it's gonna be a little different than. A little bit. The applicant is requesting that the front yard setback be compared to 25 feet from the edge of pavement, which could vary dependent on the construction of each road. Then there are additional questions that we have to ask about the construction of the subdivision. Was the roads constructed in the center of the right of way, and are all the road width exactly 20 feet? So no, they are not exactly 20 feet, and the right of way kind of varies throughout the subdivision. Out of all 118 homes already built in the subdivision, 32 are non-compliant to the 50-foot front yard building setback, which would be measured from the center line of the road. There are 29 vacant lots that remain to be built in the subdivision. So I highlighted in yellow because we're gonna have a couple conditions of the variance. Staff is recommending a condition that the developer remove the setback statement, evidence and restrictions of the recorded plat in the recorder's office of the Dearborn County Administrative Building, referencing it back to the original recorded subdivision plat. Staff is also recommending that the BZA set the new setback as follows. The variance is for a reduction in the front yard setback, which shall be 25 feet from the edge of pavement, but cannot be any closer than 10 feet from the road. There's the 10 foot of the utilities. So it goes 25 feet edge of pavement, that's the right of way. And then there's a 10-foot utilities in after that. But since the road varies, that's why we put the utility easement in there. So this condition would allow for the various widths of the roadway and the location within the right of way, and ensure that all homes remain out of the 10-foot utility easement that is on the plat located just outside the right of way. We also request that each builder property owner must have the right of way marked by a licensed surveyor prior to the construction of the house being built. This would prevent future issues. We were kind of shocked when we seen that there were 32 homes that were not compliant, but we don't go out from there. Hold on a minute. What I'm doing here. All non-compliant homes do meet the 25-foot front yard building setback. They are all outside of the 10-foot utility easement. The subdivision was built in 1998. The variance for a reduction of front yard building setback will be the setback placed in 1980, which was the 25 feet from the right of way. So we're removing that. That's what we're going on. If the variance is approved, the developer is going to have to, like I said, go and have the evidence and restriction struck from the original subdivision plat and re-record the covenants and restrictions. And then at that time, then the property owner will be able to start building on them. We have 2 lots that are held up right now, waiting for that. So before they can start construction again, Larry's going to have to record that down in the recorder's office. This was brought to us by a mortgage survey. There was.
They still do mortgage, sir?
Yeah, personally, I've seen,
Really?
I never. So that's how it was brought about. There was a house being built, they did a mortgage survey and found out that it did not meet the setbacks that were in the subdivision. So they said they had to get a variance, since it's in the covenants and restrictions. We can't do anything about it. That's why the developer has to remove it from the subdivision plat and then re-record it. So, again, this is for front yard building setback for the entire subdivision. It's 25 feet from the edge of pavement. It cannot be any closer than 10 feet from the utility easement. This was referring back to the 1980 zoning ordinance, section 965, residential letter E number 1. So this is the zoning map. It shows that the entire subdivision is R2, and then it's R1 for all the surrounding parcels. There's an aerial showing the entire subdivision. So the site inspection, this is looking north into the subdivision at the entrance of Georgetown Road. So what I did was I took a picture, we got pictures of non-compliant homes and then a picture of a compliant. So this is an example of a non-compliant home. This home is addressed 22450 Nevada Court. It is 33 feet from the center line of the road, or from the edge of pavement. This home sits exactly at the 10-foot mark for the utilities. So this home is barely compliant, like it's like right there, but. So this is,
By the new stuff that,
this is going on the new stuff.
right,
So
if
right
we
now,
would
this
change
is a
it.
non-compliant house
Right.
right now,
Right,
but if the variance is approved, then it would be.
Be compliant, okay.
inches compliant.
Yeah.
Barely.
Not compliant.
This is the property, you can have the mortgage survey done, as you can see, all construction was halted when. After the survey is done, it was brought to our attention.
That sucks.
So there are a total,
That sucks.
like I said, there's a total of 32 existing homes that are already ready to come. So this is another non-compliant home in subdivision. This one was placed at 45 feet from the center line of the road, but it is outside of the 10-foot utility easement, so. But it's not compliant with the covenants and restrictions, but.
On the.
Yep.
Okay. And then this home is an example of a home that meets the front yard building setback. This house is actually 80 feet from the center line of the road, so this is a compliant. We had a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails. We sent out a lot of letters. But the main concern was, people building too close, but we've already got 32 homes. So the way that we decided to explain it is if somebody decided they wanted to put a porch on their home, they could go up to that utility easement to put, or an addition or what have you, but. I guess that there's already so many that are not compliant. That was mainly the concern. Once we explained what we were doing, what was happening, then a lot of people were fine with it. Do you guys have any questions?
So what you were saying, everything that's built, and then we're changing it to the 25 and 10, everything would fall, every single, that's already built, correct?
Every single.
Okay,
Wow.
so they all would comply with the 25 and 10.
Closest. And I tell you that it, like, always.
Right.
In there, it appears.
But it still meets that,
Every-
so then everything would be worked out.
What we're requesting.
Okay, just verify,
Yeah.
making it clear.
Okay, then here's a dumb question. What happens if we don't approve this?
So we have not come up with that yet. Because like I said, there's 32 homes. That
That's my
are
point.
already there.
Yeah, wouldn't each of the 32 homes have to individually apply for a variance?
No, because the covenants and restrictions.
Or still?
They're
Still in place.
Okay, so I guess that's
Yeah.
I guess my point would be, are we gonna make them tear their house down and move it back?
I mean, remember, covenants and restrictions aren't anything that we enforce.
Yeah,
No,
It's an agreement that people in the subdivision enter into with each other.
okay,
so that's why they're.
I guess that's my point.
But this,
Yes.
so this fixes it.
Right.
Yeah, and the 25 and 10 fixes every house in
Yes.
this subdivision.
And that's
Why
why
so?
we would like a condition placed on there that a surveyor stake out the home, that way we do not come up, this is protecting the developer. To not have this happen.
Future.
Because what we would do is somebody.
Protecting the homeowner too.
And the homeowner,
Right.
And the-
and
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and us.
Correct.
We went through a lot,
That was.
is there anything
Wow.
else?
No,
Let me go back.
I mean, it makes sense. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess if nobody else has anything,
I don't have anything.
okay. For the,
Do we have an applicant?
yeah, is Larry Smith here? You have anything else to add?
Oh, sir. Okay,
Okay,
move to open public discussion.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to open public discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Robin Murphy. Good evening.
So I am a builder in the subdivision. When we purchased land, we were given bylaws the bylaws stated that we had to build a minimum of 25 feet. It wasn't clear that we had to build 25 feet from an easement, and at no point during any process were we told it had to be 50 feet from the center of the road. I have two homes sitting in there right now, $180,000 invested, and we can't move forward. I have clients that are paying monthly payments on a home that it's just sitting for 2 months. Larry Smith and his brother, I don't believe they did anything deceitful. I think they honestly believed that it was 25 feet from the pavement, as we were all told. And the home next to me on the one lot is 34 feet off the road, exactly the same as I set my home. And the home next to my client's home is 25 feet off of the pavement, where theirs sits 33 feet off the pavement, or their custom home. We need this just to move forward because their bank simply will not release any funds whatsoever until there's something done through you. Larry Smith also has a lot of other lots in there, and those lots basically are designed to sit back 25 feet off of the pavement, and then it goes straight down a hill. If that doesn't get changed, I doubt very much that those lots will ever sell, because the cost is astronomical. Once you get down in a hole and you have tear step foundations, it can be done, but it cuts a lot of people out of the possibility of ever owning a home. When they have to look at, okay, I've got to spend another $40,000 to build on this lot. And then my yard is literally a mountainside, where if it's 25 feet off the road, they have the yard. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks. Okay, John Souse. I'm not doing too bad tonight. I only butchered 3 of them.
John Schaus, 1818 Wyoming Court. I don't know if I'm opposed to this or for it. I don't know whether the builders are the ones that went to Larry Smith, changed the variance, or if Larry Smith is the one that wanted to change it. I don't know if Larry Smith was the original developer, and then to say that he had a covenants that he doesn't remember, to change it to 25 instead of 50. I don't know if the builders to build have to turn in a building permit so that they can build. And in that building permit, if they have drawings that show where the house is, I know when I built manufacturing plants, I had to show exact locations. And then they don't build it where they say they're gonna build it. But I was told, maybe I misunderstood, that this board has no authority to do anything about it. And so I guess the question is, if you have no authority to do anything about it, why are we even here to get a variance? We can do whatever we want. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm asking. I realize some of the houses are too far forward. I'd be real questionable as to whether or not their building permit showed the house at a different location when they moved it out. Because that would be wrong.
I can show you on the permit, John.
So, and it was the building permit approved by,
Yes.
and so, how was it approved if it didn't meet covenants? I don't get that, so.
That's a sad part. We don't see that part of it, so I don't know if there was an answer to that. Dina, do you know?
That said that the board couldn't do anything about it. We can't do it on an individual basis. The way it was brought up is a mortgage survey. Larry never, called in to change anything. No one, the mortgage survey brought it up. What we were meaning by that is we can't do anything individually. Larry has to change it for the entire subdivision because it's his subdivision. Those are his covenants, and so you have to strike it and then.
But I guess what I'm saying is I can turn in a building permit, but then I can build a house anywhere I want to and not even follow the drawing.
You can get in trouble later if you get caught
Yes.
doing it.
Mhm.
You guys just changed the zoning, so it's okay.
Not always.
It's not always, there are certain circumstances where you as an individual could come to the board and ask for a special thing on just your lot. This situation is a different situation because it is because of the covenants and restrictions. That's why it has to be the entire subdivision. Versus like the builder can't just come to us and say, make an exception for my one lot in Rocky Mountain. They're not able to do that. That's what I think Dina is getting at also.
Okay, if we change it to 25, existing homeowners can build onto the front of their home, they can add garages or whatever.
Yeah,
So basically 35 feet.
they'd have 35.
May I say something in the covenant that Larry disclosed? Any addition.
Will you get your name?
Any
Hold on.
Would you come up here?
I apologize, let me get the.
Oh, you're fine.
And I read this explicitly, so the question I want to get, the statement is.
Would you state your name for the thing?
It's Chick Steiner,
Okay.
Charles, I apologize. If you want to add a garage or a pole barn or a shed, it has to be behind the house. It cannot be in front of the house, and that is in the covenant.
But
And
so
it's,
it's, so it's 50 feet from the center.
No, you're not understanding this. If your house is 25 feet, you have to put that addition to the back of the house. It cannot be up front. So you cannot put a garage or a shed or an addition on the front. You can put a porch, you can wrap a porch around the front. But if you're thinking somebody's gonna go put a shed in front of the house, is that?
Oh, yeah, no, you can't.
You can't do
An
that.
out-
The covenant explicitly says it has to be behind the house. So I guess the question I have to ask you is, what's your concern?
My concern is more the
Because you never defined a concern. So what is your concern?
concern is. Why are we doing this?
Because you have 32 homes in there that have already been built. Do you want to go to each one of those homeowners and like he expressed, tear down your house, move it 8 foot back? Do you want to do that?
No, I don't wanna do that,
No, that's what we're
But-
trying to explain.
but I wanna
there.
know how they got built there.
You know what? We
That,
wish we had
that's,
the same answer.
that's not, that's outside of our purview for
Yeah.
this. That's not,
We don't know how this all
Yeah.
came about. All I can tell you is, by this happening, we just saved 32 people from being able to sell a house, because I'm gonna explain this. It's now a requirement that a survey gets done by a mortgage company. If it does not comply, they will not finance that loan and a mortgage title company will not insure it. So those 32 people do not have the ability to sell those homes. So,
I get it, I get what you're
but
saying.
my question I'm asking you is, what's your concern?
But from here on out, that's why we're trying to fix this, so this doesn't proceed.
So what she's saying is.
Mistakes have happened in the past. We're trying to fix it, and we're gonna correct it, so then it can be followed through now.
So saying 25 feet because that's the closest house that is current.
It's 25 feet and then 10 feet, so you're actually gonna have 35 feet
from the.
You're saying that's.
edge of the pavement.
from the edge of
That's the
pavement.
closest house current.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way
Yeah.
it works is it's a 10-foot easement off the road for utility easement. That means if the utility company needs to come in and fix your utility,
I
they
understand.
have a 10-foot right of way. So you have 25 feet from the edge of the road, 10 feet of it is gonna be your utility, and then another 15 from that has to be the home.
Now, you just said different than she said.
It's 25 feet from the edge of the road is the way it's gonna be described, right? So you have 10 foot
Yeah.
and then you have
It's
another
25
15
and then
foot.
10, hang on. Let's make this clear, cause she
You're not
told
gonna
us,
follow. You're
she
not gonna
took-
follow. Go ahead, I apologize.
yeah, I mean, she told us 25 and 10, you're throwing a 15 in there, so. Did you hear what he just said?
It's still, what's in your staff report is 25 feet from the edge of pavement.
Right,
Edge of pavement. Cannot be any closer than 10 feet from the road right of way.
correct.
That's the 10-foot
So
easement for
there's a 10 foot
utilities.
easement.
Okay. Well, he was saying 15, that's what confused
What
me.
I'm saying is 10 feet from the edge of the road is your easement, and then another 15 makes it 25 from the edge of the road.
Correct, okay.
Am I saying it correctly?
I was gonna say, that's not what
No.
is given to us, so that's why.
25 feet from edge of pavement, but cannot be any closer than 10 feet from the road right of way. And the reason it's written like that is because the roads aren't a consistent width throughout the subdivision.
Some of them are small.
I understand that, but she said from edge of pavement before.
Yes.
She didn't
Yeah.
say, so it's not from the right of way.
25 feet from the edge of pavement
And then a 10 foot.
and cannot be any closer than 10 foot from the right.
But where's the 10 foot within within the 25 or on the other side of the 25?
Correct. I mean, that, yeah, makes,
Cause we're thinking 35 up here.
yeah, we're thinking, that's why I'm like, wait a second.
I'll step out.
So here, this is the mortgage survey and it shows it perfect. So here is your,
Here's the edge of pavement,
yes, there's your edge.
but then, no.
No, here's the,
Here's your edge of
so here's
pavement.
your 25, so what is that? There's your 25 feet. See it?
That 25 feet is from the center line.
Well, then here's the right of way and then there's your 10.
So we're saying 25 from the edge of pavement
And the 10 is.
and you can't be within the 10. So see, that's
This is your
that right
10
now.
utility easement. This is your.
It's where
building
he's
setback.
25 foot.
24.
This is the current building setback. So that would give you your 50 from center line of the road. Here's your 25
Mhm.
and then there's your 25 comes to here. And then there's your 10-foot utility easement line, right? So it would be 30, I guess 35 from.
No, well, this is 25 from center.
Yeah.
See, that's the center line.
That's a center line.
It's only,
This
is only 14 from
the edge of
pavement.
Right.
This is Nicole's words.
So this is 20.
Which shows.
It's 24.8.
That's
Edge of
24 point.
pavement that
yeah,
cannot
6.
be any closer
Six, I
than
can
10
see.
feet from the road right of way. So,
So this is, okay, because, so this would
So here's
be,
your edge
if
of
you look
pavement.
at this would be right here, if you take your edge of pavement.
So there's. your
Plus this, you're at
15.
24.6.
Do you see
So they're
that?
saying.
That's
you
because
have to
the
be 20,
Half the width is 15
but you
feet.
have to be
14.
outside of the,
10 foot. So maybe.
outside of the 10 feet.
Looked at you.
and then it's showing the 25.
That's the
building
current one.
That's the current.
That's the
current
current
one,
building
okay.
setback.
But see, this one is 20. This is from the lot line, not the edge of pavement.
Yeah,
So
that's the utility.
it's like 16 plus 14. I don't know if that.
Oh my God.
30 something.
Yes.
That's where this one's.
So the way that Nicole explained it to me was 25 feet edge of pavement and then there's the 10-foot utilities.
See, and that's what I was thinking, 35, but see, that's
It's not, it can be within that 25.
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's what we.
The 10 was.
25 from the edge of pavement.
But
Yeah,
there's the
correct.
10-foot utility easement and because the road
Within the
varies.
25.
Yeah.
And the
The
25.
road varies, so it could be 19 feet wide, so then it would be 26 feet and then the 10-foot. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why we had to put the utility easement in there because.
The easement's in the first 10 feet.
Because the roads are not constructed like it's.
Well, it's because the utility easement runs along the lot line.
Correct.
It's 10 feet from the lot line.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
10
he's
feet from the
always
lot
still on the
line.
lot lines.
And then they're saying 25 from
Yes.
the pavement. So like, yeah, you would be like, up here, technically, I think on that one. If you did the math-ish,
Mhm.
you know, you'd be,
So this
you'd be outside of the
10
10 foot easement.
Utilities all the way around.
So it'd be,
Yes.
Yeah.
But it gives you a variance. See, that's an awful way to put it. I think that's so confusing.
That's why she had to help with
Utility
it because I was.
In that.
In that 25 feet. That's,
So it's like.
so we're only talking
I mean,
25
I
feet.
see now,
Yeah,
but-
like 35.
Right. Ooh, it's the way I understand it.
That's where I, okay, I agree with that.
understand it.
I'll
Wait,
agree
what
with
did you
that.
just say it again?
You got 25 foot from the edge of pavement.
Yes.
But the utility easement, which is 10 feet,
10
is
feet
within that.
within the
in that
25.
In that 25.
And but regardless of how the road would run, it still has to ultimately be outside of the 10 foot.
Correct.
So there's a chance that if it's 25 and the road's a funky width, that it might have to be 26, 27 feet away from the edge of pavement because you have to get outside of the
You have to
utility.
get outside of the utility.
Okay.
Okay.
Did I speak? I didn't fill out a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You come up and say your name.
Come up here and.
Careful now.
Now, I
Just trying to,
think we understand.
trying to straighten their mind.
Yeah, I think I can explain a little bit of the confusion. Because if you look at the descriptions and everything, it doesn't really come out plainly, saying, I think it's number 11.
I don't think we have.
I don't think I've got that.
See, that was the thing, we can't,
Is that on the back here?
and I probably,
On the back.
like, if
I
you ever
don't
get
think
one,
so.
well, you know what, it's
Front.
in here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not on it.
would have been on the front and you can't
Is
see
this
it.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
be great.
Okay, right here it states that the minimum building setback for all lots shall be 25 feet unless shown otherwise on the subdivision plot. And I think
Oh.
30 some of the people, and it's my fault, I should have been up there and checked every one of them.
Right.
But there's a sign, and my brother's a realtor, he put a fence post where the stake was. And that's where he put his for sale signs, and that was to be the edge of the home. But lots of builders come in and we didn't run up there, I didn't, it's my fault to check every one of them to make sure.
Right.
So, and with all the lots, I've got all the lots sold, there's 12 lots left. So, instead of coming down and getting a variance, every time somebody sold a lot, I said, let's just do this.
And you're okay with what the
Yes.
county is proposing to
And
try to
everyone
fix it?
up there, there's one guy up there that's like 25 feet. But the other side of it is 30 feet. It's in a curve.
Right, right.
And that some of them is 80 foot wide on the easement coming in. Then there's 60 foot, and then the streets are 50. And it's pretty tough building up there because it's on ridges.
Right,
Mhm.
oh, I
And
understand.
I know, yeah, I know, yeah.
I understand that.
They want to move it a little bit tighter, but I've told them, okay. We'll get this 25 feet, but I think they can all fit about 30.
Right.
And Robin, I went up there the night I found out about it, it's after dark, he had a flashlight and measured it. And he's 31 plus feet on both lots. But his bank said that, it should be closer and stopped him. And the homeowners was, they're mad, he's mad, I'm mad. That's pretty rough to get shut down when you got the foundation for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that don't
Especially
make
when
more
they're
sense of it.
cut you down. Well, Steven, I think.
okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything?
Yeah.
Can I ask that, with approval of the variance, that, when I bought my house, I never got a copy of the covenant. And I don't know if we're just expected to find one online or go to the courthouse.
Go to the courthouse and get it. Come here and get
I
it.
ask that variance is changed, that everybody in the subdivision gets a copy.
We have to go down to the recorder's office and purchase one, it'll be a document, we're not allowed to. You have to go purchase one for the recorder's office.
They don't give them even to other offices in here for free. You have to pay for them. So you're gonna have to get a copy of it or ask your,
But you could ask,
Yeah.
Larry, he could give you a copy. It's done.
Well, I just say, I don't know if anybody in the neighborhood.
I'll get you a copy.
No.
I want one. I gotta see why.
Okay, anybody else? Yes,
I'm a resident of Rocky Mountain, lot 108.
Just come up here.
Can you come up here and say your name? Sorry, we gotta
You
have.
have to have it for the record.
My name is Tom McNamee. Lot 108, 20 years. And when we moved in, it was new construction. We didn't spec it. It was a market house. By Randy Galloway. Great guy, never knew him.
I knew he's.
But he gave us no bylaws, no direction, no nothing. I had to come down to the courthouse 20 years ago. It was $3 or $4 or $5 for a blueprint, plot plan. And the only notes I saw were comments on the blueprint. There's not a separate document that said, this is Rocky Mountain
covenants, bylaws, restrictions or whatever.
It's on the actual subdivision
What?
On the whole
plat.
plot plan.
Yeah, it's on there.
It's on there.
That's what Larry just had.
Yeah, he just had it.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is with
That's
covenant
it.
restrictions. It's on the actual survey.
Mhm.
And there's nobody to enforce that inside. We don't have the homeowners.
They are supposed to enforce it.
Well, I mean, we never had a meeting or anything.
Correct.
It's just like.
Correct.
Yeah,
I'll bet
that's not
2/3
part
the
of the
residents
county's-
here
Yeah,
have it.
that's not uncommon, I'd say.
Do you have
No, it's not.
with the notes on it? No, you gotta
But
see.
you're a homeowner. You should be responsible to go get, I mean, if you know it's a subdivision and there possibly could be something, I would want to have that information. You gotta come get it from the courthouse.
Mhm.
We bought the lot.
Yeah.
We bought the lot.
Okay.
700 group.
It was a really-
Oh, you're,
it was
no
a-
problem.
you're spot on, that's very common. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Anybody else?
Move to close public discussion.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second to close public discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Okay.
Wow. Interesting.
Wow.
I mean.
All right, Ruth Ann, I want to hear your verbiage.
This is gonna, I need to do it.
I'm gonna repeat what it.
Yeah.
Then you like the way I passed that off.
So just remember, we have to learn all this stuff too, because the ladies in the office, they get all this together for us and bring it to us, and then we just have what they give us. We haven't done all the research that they have on it, so you have to bear with us when we're trying to figure it out too. So just to warn you why we were having our little powwow too, because we wanted to make sure we were thinking properly.
Did we get it right?
Yeah, I don't want to mess it up.
Right.
I mean, I don't really have an
So,
issue.
here's my only
to fix
thing.
it.
Here's my only thing when we're reading
Yeah.
what's in yellow. It shall be 25 feet from the edge of pavement, that makes sense, but cannot be any closer than 10 feet from the road right of way. Can we state that it cannot be any closer than the 10-foot utility easement? Would that accomplish the same thing? I think that from the 10 foot from the road right of way, it's what's
Yeah.
really throwing it off for me, or am I missing something, Andy? Like, would that accomplish the same thing? Cause the 10 foot,
Pavement, no closer than 10 feet from the utility easement.
That's the way I understand it.
from the utility easement though?
Off. No closer than 10. You're the. It doesn't look pretty long.
Thank you.
Tell them that. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to make sure that it's clear. So, because the 10 foot utility easement is platted on the subdivision plat.
Mhm.
Do you have that full plat with you? Can I see that?
It's 10 feet from the edge of the pavement.
Is it from the edge of the pavement or is it from the lot line? That's what I'm just trying to make sure we've got it clear. I think we all know what we wanna say.
Right.
So it's just saying
Making
it.
sure the verbiage.
What'd you do with them?
Did you fold it?
Was it back here?
Register.
Too
I just
much.
wanna see a bigger version
much
of this,
paperwork.
this yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, each one, like that one's 80, this 60, this is 60, and each one of these are 50.
And then, but then.
See, the 10 foot is
And
off
then,
of the.
See the
This-
foot
I
is,
got a better. I got a better.
is that what we call the right, is that what we're gonna call the right of way?
Right here.
Mhm. Yes, it is 10 foot of the right of way, because the right of way would be the edge of the lot
Be
line.
the edge of the line, yeah.
So you're
Correct.
15 foot past that. That's,
See,
Yes.
I don't like why are we?
but no, within that 15 foot.
Mhm.
But the way it is, when we put the subdivision in there, I dug a little ditch up there. And, they were along the edge of pavement off the road, cause we had to have, we put gas, sewer, water.
That's what I was just, but I'm just reconciling now in my brain that edge of right of way is essentially edge of the
Pavement.
lot line. Not edge of pavement, it's the lot line.
Okay,
And I don't like that word. Edge of pavement.
Cause I don't think that.
But we
ever
have to
going
have
there
that
black
to make them
street.
compliant.
I know. I
Double
think
width was long.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
There would be, there's plenty of room to go.
that's just the survey.
And I'm gonna be upset because you will not for now. Yes. You can go 25 feet if it's worse if the edge of pavement, but other than that.
Mhm.
And
Hold it back
everybody up
farther.
there- everybody up there, like one screwed up a little bit. And just like he did, he measured his neighbor's existing house, how far it was from the edge of pavement.
Right.
So that's how
Okay.
this thing got sort of out of hand.
Right.
And like I said, I should have been up there doing it for house, but.
Yeah, okay.
Building, no,
This helps.
you know. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm okay with,
okay.
I'm okay with the wording that they have in yellow now. So I was able, like, that's what I was caught up on.
That
is-
didn't make sense.
It is road right of way, but I'm thinking that more of like, that's the,
But the utilities is in the road.
it's 10 feet from, it's
The edge
this
of
right here.
pavement, right?
See, no, not edge of pavement. Edge of pavement runs here.
Yeah.
This is your right of way,
But they're never.
which is like the lot line. So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
10 feet from
From the-
here. And they have to be at least 25 from the edge of the pavement.
Correct. Okay.
And the 10 feet would likely fall in that
In the
25.
25.
Yes.
Most likely, yeah.
But within that, everybody does it,
Mhm.
especially in subdivisions, you know, if you're on a state road.
Right,
Things like that, yeah, then we're not allowed to put them utilities, but
right.
everybody goes right along the edge of the road.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Put
Okay.
water lines and sewer lines and it's really not the way that's wrong.
Okay.
Right.
And that's why I jumped that guy for us. When you worked up under 25 feet setback, you should put 25 feet from the edge of pavement.
Right, or something,
25
right.
feet, You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
Okay. That makes
All
sense.
right. Thank you.
First thing you're gonna have to do on this motion is you're gonna have to recommend the
Yeah.
developer move the setbacks that's currently
Yeah.
stated.
Yes,
You're probably gonna have to read all of that, aren't you?
yes, I'm going to, then yes.
Okay.
Let someone else look through it.
No.
All right.
You're the lawyer. Yeah, we got a bunch of lawyers.
The setbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make, fine, I'll make a motion to grant a development standard variance. For Rocky Mountain Estates. Hold on,
The 4 yard setback for the entire subdivision.
all right, let me start that over. I'm gonna make a motion to grant a development standard variance for a reduction in front yard building setback for the entire subdivision of Rocky Mountain Estates. With the condition that the developer remove the setback statement from the current covenants and restrictions and have the new setback requirements recorded in the recorder's office, referencing back to the original recorded subdivision plat. And that the variance is for reduction in front yard setback, which shall be 25 feet from the edge of pavement, but cannot be any closer than 10 feet from the road right of way. Further, that any builder or property owner must have the right of way marked by a licensed surveyor prior to the construction of
The house.
a house. And this condition will also allow for various widths of the roadways and location within the right of ways to make sure all homes remain out of the 10-foot utility easement that is on the plat located just outside the right of way. Citing Article 3, Section 320 of the Dearborn County zoning ordinance. And
You might note that the intention is that all existing structures will be covered.
okay. And that the intention of this is to, make sure any non-compliant homes currently, will be considered compliant. And any findings of fact here tonight.
I'll second that.
Very good.
Think that. Yeah, that was really good.
I'm not gonna repeat that.
No, I'm not. I have a motion and a second.
You have to listen.
Say,
I couldn't resist.
I know. I have a motion and a second to grant a development standard variance for a reduction of front yard building setback for the entire subdivision of Rocky Mountain Estates in Miller Township as presented here tonight. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
I do go see Dina.
Bad. Is that yours?
All right, so next
Oh.
month we have two cases. One of them is on North Hogan. I don't know if you remember when we did the variance used for the bar accessory shop. So they constructed a pond with no permits, part of their major site.
Of course.
Part of their drainage. So then the pond is closer than the 30 foot from the side to the property line. So they have to get a variance for
Yep.
that. Then the second one is Right Christian Church, out from the subway. Anyhow, they had got a previous BZA approval for an electronic message sign. They want to update it. But they want to make the monument sign over 10 foot, so they have to get a variance for
Raise it up. Yep.
That's
That's right, Christian.
That's all.
there's,
I wanna thank everybody. I'm patient.
hold on a
So
second.
proud of you.
There's
Thank
a,
you.
there's a chance I won't be at the September or October meeting. Do we wanna like chat about that in email to see if we should keep the dates or not?
Well, I can look and, we don't have anything so far for that, but yeah, we can. I can look on, let me look on SCEDA and see what all we have going on.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that to your attention since it's 2 months in a row. I mean, I absolutely probably can be if I need to. I just might not.
I won't be here next month.
Did our county officials ever decide to have an alternate?
Alternate for BZA.
No, we never did.
I was just wondering, I didn't know what they were talking about.
That's such an odd thing to me. To just throw somebody into the fire that's not set up here.
Oh, I
And know
understand.
everybody has their first meeting at some point, you know,
Right.
when they get appointed, but it just seems so odd to me to be able to just drop an alternate in randomly. I mean, no other boards like that.
Okay, just asking, I remember,
But no,
I remember it being brought up.
But yeah, I
It was
wouldn't,
brought up.
I would not, I'm not gonna be able to be here.
So I'm not gonna be here either, so Kyla is probably going to do next month.
She can throw it in the fire, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm on vacation.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
I have a motion and a second adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
They even let you finish.
Oh, yeah, go.
I was like, who says that?
Hold on, because we gotta shut you. Yeah.
Please do that.
Time real quick.
There is no way I wanted to even begin to
Well,
try
hang
making
on.
that motion.
Hang on, it's still on there.
Film. Oh.
He's still trying to turn it on.
How many people watching this right now?
I hope anybody.
But they can go back and watch it. That's the thing.
90 days.
Mm,